Guys, we cooked once again. We hit 13 out of the last 16 bets, and you guys are cooking as well. We hit the record 1000 views, and we had a record number of likes on the last video. So thank you. Let's continue. We went 3-1 last night. We hit Hemi Hackes, Aaron Wiggins, Austin Reeves, and loser was on Rudy Gobert. He couldn't rebound. He had a ton of points but didn't cover with rebounds, which is unfortunate. I hate betting on rebounds, but it is what it is. But we hit new all-time high on the units of profit on the show. We are at 26.76 units of profit with huge 15% ROI. Great run on the show. And let's now dive into today's slate. We had 4 games on the slate today. It doesn't look like one of the greatest slates ever, but it's not that bad either, so we'll go through all 4 games and do the research on the spot. First game on the board, Pacers against the Knicks. When I see Pacers playing, the first thing I'm going to check is the spread, and we can see Knicks are 12 points favorites in this one. Last game, they blown out Boston Celtics, so I am jumping to the NBA rotations for this one, and I'll go to the Knicks last game because it was a blowout, and if you expect the blowout in this one, let's see who is the guy that's playing in the blowout. For the Knicks, the guys that played in the blowouts are all outside of rotation, so not a single guy from the rotation benefits from a blowout, so we need to be aware of that before placing any bets. And then we can see I had a decent spot for Landry Shamet and Jose Alvarado, but they are not playing in a blowout, so if it's a blowout they won't get any minutes, so I not a huge fan of that fact. Jalen Brunson gets absolutely amazing matchup. If he is going to play like his usual minutes, like 30 to 38 against the Pacers, they allow a ton of pick and roll ball handlers, free throws, single players covered. But if you take a look, when he gets under 32 minutes, he's averaging 19 points a game. And if it's a blowout, that's probably where the minutes will land. Looking at splits, let's go to the win-loss margin. When Knicks won by 15 or more points, Jalen Brunson is under in 9 out of 14 games, averaging only 24 points. When they win by 20 or more, it goes even lower, 23 points average hit in only 3 out of 10. So if it's a blowout, he is usually not covering. So yeah, I won't bet Jalen Brunson for this matter. On the other side, we had Towns. Great matchup, but look at this. He only covered in 4 out of the last 20, so nothing great there. Anunoby coming back from the injury, I don't want to target that. Mikal Bridges, this guy is not shooting much. When the guys are healthy, look at the games when Brunson and Towns are playing. He's averaging 13.9 points a game. Covered is only 7 out of 21. Easy matchup today, but blowout chance and also him not being very aggressive doesn't help. Then looking at the guys like Landry Shamet. Last game, no Anunoby, no McBride. He got 28 minutes in a blowout. Game before that, he played 36. It was an overtime, so he got 28 in the regular time. When we look at the games when he gets 18 to 28 minutes, he's averaging almost 10 points, covering this in 70% of the games. But he scored most of his points in the spot up and catch and shoot. They are best defense in the league against that. Most of his points from the corners. And overall from the 3-point line, and Pacers allowed third least 3 points. So nothing great in this game, and I won't even touch Pacers side. Tanking coming, I don't want to deal with it. Next game on the board is Clippers against the Rockets. 23.5 definitely looks a bit on the lower side for KD, but he played in twice this season and averaged 19 points over 2 games, stayed under in both of these games. Not targeting KD, but Brook Lopez in drop coverage could definitely be a thing. I don't know who defends him, maybe even Kawhi, so don't want to go there, definitely. But think leaning over for KD. Same thing for Jabari Smith, finally getting the legs under him. Covered this in 5 out of the last 6, averaging 17.3 points a game. But for this one, I'm going to read Shepard. And let's look at the games when team is healthy. When there is KD, when there is Şengün, when there is Amen Thompson, when there is Jabari Smith, and when there is Tari Eason. When all of these guys are healthy, he's averaging 22 minutes a game. And looking at the last 4 games, he played 15 minutes, 26 minutes, 17 minutes, and 19 minutes. So over the last 4 games with all these guys, since he's averaging 19 minutes a game. So looking at his points, rebounds, and assists, 17.5, pretty widely available. Ton of spots has this. Looking at the entire season, he's averaging 18 points, rebounds, and assists. But let's exclude the games when he got over 30 minutes. He's then averaging 16, covering this in only 14 games. But as we've seen, he's averaging 19 points a game when the entire team is healthy. So, in my opinion, he is getting from 18 minutes up to 24. And when he gets 18 to 24 minutes, he is under this line in 16 out of 19 games. So my first official bet today is Reed Shepard under 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And starting with this, actually, if we go even further, like 18 to 26, then he's averaging almost 23 minutes a game. Still under this line in plenty of games, more than 2/3, and averaging 16 points, rebounds, and assists. Matchup-wise, I don't know. Let's look at the last 10 games. Over the last 10 games, we can see that Clippers are averaging defense. They don't allow rebounds. They are averaging assists. So overall, kind of not great matchup, not terrible matchup either. So average matchup, but he didn't perform that great against those average matchups. So without Harden, their defense should be better on the perimeter. They now have guys like Derrick Jones and Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn playing big minutes, and Kobe Sanders. Those guys can defend. So doesn't look great for Reed Shepard out there. And also, as I said, the biggest reason I'm betting this is just minutes pattern. So if he's not getting more than 25 minutes, which is probably the thing, looking at 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists, he's under in almost 80% of the games. So yeah, huge fan of the under here on Reed Shepard. Even overs that came in games when he got 24. So looking at like narrowly 18 to 22, which is I think is realistically like that he gets 18 to 22 minutes. He's under this line in 12 out of 13, averaging only 13.5 points, rebounds, and assists per game. And those are some easy matchups here. Looking at the matchups, you can see Dallas here, Lakers here, Bulls here, Pelicans here, Hornets here. He stayed under in all of these and covered only against the Suns in the game without Şengün and Tari Eason. So yeah, if we take a look at maybe 18 to 26 when we include Şengün, KD, Amen, Jabari Smith, and Tari Eason, averaging 17.1, but overs came against the Nets, against the Wizards, which is definitely on the easier side of the matchups, but it still looks good for an under, especially as of late. So first official bet, Reed Shepard under 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. On the side of the Clippers, looking at Kawhi, I can't touch this 30.5. This is insane. He kind of cooked Wolves, but I don't know what's Udoka going to do, but I won't be surprised if 3 players are guarding him and he kind of ignores everyone else. Earlier this season, he played and scored 24. Next game, he scored 41. Absolutely insane shooting. Usage usually shouldn't be enough for him to cover. In the second one, he had 23 field goal attempts. Let's look at the usage for the second one. In the second one, he had 36%, which is actually huge. But he had 23 field goal attempts. Let's look how he does against this line when he gets between 20 and 25 field goal attempts. He's under in 13 out of the 18. Let's increase to 21. Still under in more games, averaging 22 field goal attempts. And the last improvement is 22 to 25 field goal attempts. Then he is averaging more than 30 points. But still, this matchup is really tough. So let's look at the free throws in these games. In these games, he had 5.7 free throws average, which I can see him getting 5 free throws tonight. If we exclude that game where he had 10, now he's averaging 30 points and the line is at 30 points. So definitely a stay away spot. Looking at Brook Lopez, we can see that he was playing 36 minutes against the Kings. The next game, 26 minutes in a blowout. So he was on pace to play more than 30 minutes again, which are huge minutes, honestly. And if you take a look on the season, when he gets 24 or more minutes, he's averaging 12 points a game. That crazy game against the Portland where he scored 9 threes. So yeah, he had a game against the Houston Rockets with 27 minutes, scored only 5 points. So I'm leaning on under on Lopez at 10.5, but 9.5 seems fair. So yeah, not much there. Chris Dunn could be a guy that Houston Rockets ignores, and then he can hit threes. Plus 180 on threes makes sense. Look at the games head to head. He made 3 threes, 7 attempts. Last 2 games, only 1 attempt against the Wolves, 4 attempts against the Kings, 1, 2, 2. So very low volume of threes, but 2 games against the Houston Rockets, Udoka probably ignored him, and he made 3 threes in both. So maybe worth a sprinkle on Chris Dunn threes, maybe on ladder like 2+, 3+ on some small unit size. Not making it official, but definitely think this is one worth looking at because Udoka is known for some crazy defensive schemes. And yeah, looking at the season, he covered this in 12 out of 32. When he gets more than 4 threes attempted, then he covered in 10 out of 15. And I think he will get more than 4 or more tonight against the Houston Rockets. And that's it for that game. Also, just additionally, Maturin, I don't know how many minutes he's going to play, but if he gets close to 30 minutes in debut, he should cover this line. But that's just a guess game. So next game, Mavericks against the Suns. I think they played recently. Let's check. Last time they played was in November, so not even close. I don't know. Interesting spot as always. When I see Dallas playing, I just go to opposing bigs. And for us, in this case, in this spot, is Mark Williams, who last game played season high 31 minutes. So yeah, could see him playing good minutes tonight as well. This line is juiced. I would say very much juiced. We get some 11.5, minus 136, minus 135, minus 132. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can make this an official bet because it's not widely available. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 books have playable odds. 6 including bettors. So maybe I will do FanDuel minus 136. But let's check the schedule. Are they playing tomorrow? This is huge for Mark Williams. Let's go and check. Do they play tomorrow? Let's see if the Suns are on. Yeah, they're playing tomorrow. So he could be on some minutes restriction. Let's check the last couple of times. Last couple of games. First night of back-to-back. Against OKC, 21 minutes in a close game. Against the Nets, 29 minutes. Then against the Pistons, 25 minutes in a blowout. Let's check that game against the... So he got 25 minutes against the Pistons. Let's check that game. We definitely need to check that game, which is Suns against the Pistons. Let's go to Mark Williams and check game against the Detroit. In that game, he was on pace to... He lost 3 minutes. 2.5 minutes. So he was on pace. So he played 25. 2 additional minutes will be 27. So he was to play 27 in that game. Against Golden State Warriors. What happened against the Golden State Warriors? Those minutes are super... Okay. he didn't play in the fourth quarter at all. They had Iguodaro close game over him. I don't know why is that. Maybe because he did had 11 points in that game and 10 rebounds, double, and he got benched in the fourth. Maybe they went on a run without him. I don't know. The next game he gets 31 against Embiid. That makes sense. They needed his size. So looking at the last, I don't know how many, like 8 games, he's averaging 26 minutes per game. The lowest he got is 23. He got benched in the entire fourth. 24 against the Clippers. That was a blowout. So looking at him against the Clippers, let's see what happened that game. He returned in the fourth, but got pulled very quickly because, it was a blowout. So, So that game, it was a blowout. That's why he got less minutes. Cleveland Cavaliers, another game, I think, where a blowout happened against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He didn't play entire fourth because it was a huge blowout. So he was losing minutes only when it was a blowout. So he's kind of projected to play 28 minutes, I would say. And on the entire season, when he gets, I would say 23 to 31, he's averaging 14.4 points a game, covering 18 out of 31. But he's scoring most of his points at the rim from the paint. So when we look at the teams that are outside of like top 10 in paint defense, he covered this line in 11 out of 15 games, averaging 17 points per game. Didn't cover against Bam Adebayo, against Embiid, which kind of makes sense. And looking at the last, I would say, 12 games, he's averaging 18 points, covered in 83%. And some tough matchups here, like he covered against the Wolves, covered against Miami Heat. Most of these are easy matchups, like Portland Trail Blazers, like Memphis, Pelicans. So overall, great form, I would say. 18 points average, that's not... Also similar players by position covering is 6 out of 7, 30 points, 30% more points than their closing lines. Players by position also covered in 9 out of 15, averaging 13% more points than closing lines. De'Aaron Sharp, 14 points. Claxton, 13 points. Ayton is a moron, so he shot 4 from 16, so I will definitely ignore that one. He was supposed to cover as well. Musa Diabatevi, 10 points. Mark Williams, a much better offensive player. So I'll make this official bet. Second official bet, Mark Williams over 11.5 points, minus 136. Minus 133 now on DraftKings, so that's definitely a better price and get it there. Minus 134 for Caesar, so it's now widely available. So this is great time. When I checked 5 minutes ago, this wasn't widely available. Now it is, so I will lock this in. Minus 133 on DraftKings, but I will average it out at Caesars minus 134. I will track it at minus 134 at Caesars. So if you have DraftKings, get it at better price. So definitely like this now because it's widely available. I hate to bet. I hate to share official bets that's not widely available. I usually don't do it. I just tell you guys as a lean. So that's our second official bet. Moving on from the board, the last game on the board is Spurs against the Lakers. And the Lakers on the second night of back-to-back, they lost last night to OKC. I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron James is out, Austin Reeves is out, and Luka Doncic is out. I wouldn't be surprised if they rest entire team for this game. And then Hachimura at 11.5 is a smash spot. Marcus Smart points, rebounds, and assists at 11.5 is a smash spot. Look at this. Without Luka Doncic, and I think both Reeves and LeBron will be out. Just without Luka Doncic, he's averaging 22 points, rebounds, and assists. Without entire team, he's only one game, but he shot horrible, converted horrible rebounds, so he was close to covering in that one. But without Luka, we can see that he covered this line in 5 out of the 6, and the one that didn't cover, he was supposed to. He had great volume. So if there is no big three, Marcus Smart over points, rebounds, and assists, Rui Hachimura without Luka Doncic when he gets 24 plus minutes. Over in 8 out of 8 games, averaging almost 17 points. So that's fun as well. I also think Spurs win this one. So maybe we can build some semi-game parlay for this. It's like Spurs, looking at this, Spurs covering, and then going to Rui Hachimura over on points, and then combo line for points, rebounds, and assists for Marcus Smart, and we get plus 804. Spurs covering because big three is out, and if big three is out, these two guys should cover their lines, and we get plus 800 for this one. So not making an official bet, but as a long shot, I know you guys love long shots and big single parlay, so you will definitely enjoy this one. And as I said, this is like a long shot betting on all the guys to be out. Definitely a possibility. Definitely a chance to Luka Doncic returns for tonight's game, but I still think they're gonna throw this one away because it's tough to beat the Spurs. Only thing that I don't like this is the Lakers playing at home. It's fucked up to throw a game at home. So, yeah. Before we go back to the slate, I just remembered I need to address some questions on the show. I had questions asked in the comments. I'll just zoom out a bit so you guys can see this. Okay. So this is now on the entire screen. So I'll address these questions. Alex ask, curious you thinking on this. Why do you often play 1.25 units per play? Why not just make your 1.25 units your new standard 1 unit? I actually bet 1.5 unit as my standard unit. I just feel more like flexible with that. My 1.5 unit standard makes me just going up and down to 2 units a bet on my better angles, better edges, and just scaling down to 1 unit on my smaller ones. Also, betting 1 unit as your standard is, I don't have anything against that. I'm just much more confident in my edge as I've been doing this for 10 plus years and won every single years. I won at least 50 units every single year over the last 10 years betting the NBA props. So scaling up to 1.5 because I'm more confident in my edge. And if you bet more, you win more. That's kind of compounding over time. So that's why I use 1.5 unit as my standard. But when you get into the betting, I would say like you actually don't use units at all when you are like for private betting. I'm just sending dollar amounts, get me this much. For example, sending a bet out, and if I like it a lot, I would say like probably like maybe like this bet I like the most, sending 5 bets out, and 1 bet I like the most. So I'll say like 2K on these 4 and make this fund 2.5K bet size. So yeah, just scaling between. But for tracking on the show and overall as on Twitter or any way, when you publicly share bets, I think units are fine. Second question. This one, I don't know if you can see actually what is. Let me zoom it out a bit. It will be a good if you explain the video how you manage your quantity of bets from big slates to small slates. I will also be interested to know what's your unit outlays range between depending on the slate. Okay, so this one I would say I sometimes, if it's a big slate, like tomorrow we have 14 game slates, I could have like 30 bets myself. I don't care as much on like quantity of bets and I don't approach it differently. Small slate, if I have 5 bets, I have 5 bets. Big slate, if I have 20 bets, I have 20 bets. Like I will bet like the same way I do, no matter the size of the slate. If I think one bet is great, I will bet like let's say 2 units of it. If I think bet is not great, I'll bet 1 unit. I'm not scaling small slate to big slate, but there are times that I do scale, and that's if I have 3 overs from the same game. Instead of betting 1.5 units on every single one, I'll scale down to 1 unit on every of these bets. So instead getting 4.5 units total on over on one game, I'll have 3 units total on one game, just to lower my risk of like if it's a blowout, I could lose all 3 bets and then losing 4.5 units on one single blowout. That's not ideal, so I'm just lowering my risk and scaling back on the same game. But overall on the slate, I just approach every game like on its own. So if there is 7 games, I could probably end up like having 10 bets. If it's 2 games, probably 3 bets, 2 bets. So yeah. If you have proper bankroll management, which is like 1% of the bankroll is in 1 unit. If you have 50 bets on the day, you are risking 50% of your bankroll. But you can't lose 50% of your bankroll. Like it's really difficult to go 0 and 50 if you are betting straight. So yeah, you just need to understand that you are not, if you are risking 50 units on 50 different plays, that's not a huge risk, honestly. Doesn't matter if you spread it throughout 5 days. So you bet every day 10 units, or betting one slate 50 units on 50 different bets. It's kind of the same thing. But yeah, I do sometimes when I go to bed and I have so much money on, it's kind of, it gets to you. You get a bit anxiety, but with time you get used to it, and then you just don't care, honestly. And for the last one topic, how do you get get into NBA modeling? Do you do any other sports? I don't do any other sports. I just bet NBA because that's where my expertise are, where I'm confident in my edge and my bets. I actually don't model. I don't have my projections or my own projections. I kind of know from the experience where to look and how to approach, but I'm using PropsMadness. Like for the most part, I'm just using PropsMadness, and that's been working really well for me. That's why I actually created this. I mean, I didn't create, my developers did, but the idea behind it is mostly mine. Yeah, I do find most of my bets, like not most. I don't know how do I research without PropsMadness. One day the site was down because some Cloudflare outrage, and I couldn't do any of my research. I just gave up on betting that day because so much of my betting comes from PropsMadness, and I kind of model stuff like on the spot. Like as you said, I just model minutes for let's say Mark Williams range, and then I see his hit rate, his points average, and I adjust for the matchup as I've shown you, and then I know like, okay, in this kind of matchup when he gets 28 minutes average, he's averaging 17 points, and we have 11.5 line. So that's great. So I kind of model it right on the spot using the PropsMadness. But if you guys are definitely interested in modeling, creating your own projections and stuff, I do have stuff to recommend, and it's the Risk Takers podcast. I listened to every single episode over the last 2 years. They are great. Definitely need to check it out. For example, the last episode was small data problems with the peanut butter, one of my favorite follows on Twitter. Then how to best monetize, great projection. ATR debate, great one as well. A gambling man and family man, the Beagle bets, great NBA prop better, a lot to learn from. So another great episode. Then going back to the internal market making and simulation elitism with Louis. Absolutely amazing episode. Love Louis. So make sure to definitely check this out if you are interested in learning more about sports betting, improving projections, betting overall, exchanges, prediction markets, and all that stuff. But let's go back to the slate. Yeah, this one is rough. Like they kind of did great against Wemby. Hold him under 20 points both games. Sent a ton of double teams his way. Also, this could be a blowout as all the guys are out. So can't bet on Wemby here. Also, Stefan Castle kind of wasn't covering this line for a long time. And then looking at the last games, he scored 40 points. But before that one, he was under in 14 out of 20, averaging less than 15 points a game. So this line could be actually much inflated, but head-to-head games, he scored 15, 16 with Wemby, and one game without Wemby, he scored 30. So maybe leaning under on Castle, a blowout could definitely help. And also, yeah, this line could be too high. But other than that, don't have much. We have 2 official bets on the show tonight. It's Mark Williams over 11.5 points, Reed Shepherd under 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And that's it, guys. We have a huge 14-game slate tomorrow. Can't wait for it. And see you then.